Hey guys, Lance Martin, Coldwell Banker Town and Country, and we are back for our 2023 Real Estate Market Snapshot for the month of September. We're going to mix things up a little bit today. Hopefully this works as planned. If not, we'll improve upon it as we move forward. Generally, I'm going to give you the same data that I've been giving you, but we're going to present it to you in a different fashion. The format's going to be a little bit different, and we've got some shareable links that for those of you that are super geeks on this stuff, you'll be able to basically access this data in real time, live, at any point between the snapshots. So if you're interested, on October 1st, what's going on, and you don't want to wait for my October snapshot, quite honestly, you don't have to wait for me. You can jump in and you can take a peek at the data. So we're going to see how things go today. So again, I'm Lance Martin, Coldwell Banker Town and Country, your humble host for the day. The QR code will be important. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't have a link necessarily, you're going to want to grab this QR code, because this QR code is basically going to link to the presentation, which is going to link to all these other links that I just referred to a minute ago. If you're say, hey, I'm on Facebook and I see this, then just go above and find the link and you're good. You won't necessarily need the QR code. We're not going to do anything in the news today. I purposely decided to leave off Jerome Powell and interest rates and inflation and whatever the heck we think's going on. So our In the News segment is gone. So we're going to jump straight into our Inland Southern California market update, which, by the way, you may notice I have a little laptop over here, which is part of our new presentation for today. So we'll get to that, and that's the part I hope works. So the main thing that we're going to do a little bit differently today is, as I present the data, I'm going to present all 4 counties simultaneously. So if you've been following my stuff over the last couple years, and by the way, Adam, this is month 24. We've been doing this every single month for 2 years on video, and another 13 or 15 years before that never made it to video. It'd be really fun to watch those from 2010, but at any rate, we don't have them. But anyway, this is our 24th month in studio with Adam and his crew. So the main thing you're going to see different today is we're going to do all 4 counties together: LA, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties, all in one shot. So how is that going to look? Well, it's going to look something like this. So I loved my prior charts with all my green bars and my trend lines and all the rest of that, but I think they got a little bit lost. There are some things about this chart that I don't particularly care for, but again, we're going to give it a shot. Give me some feedback and we'll see how it goes. So I just put these counties in alphabetical order. So if you're looking down here, we've got LA County with the median price. Oh, by the way, this is median sales price. So that's what we're looking at right now. Now, some of you, and you've heard me talk about this, are like, Lance, I would really like, and I would prefer that you did average price. Well, guess what? Next month, we're going to do both. We're going to give you the median price, we're going to give you the average price, and I will give you links to both. So if you think median price is garbage, fine, you'll be able to go look at the average and vice versa. But for this month, we're going to stick with median price. So this is median price, the 4 counties. I put the counties down here alphabetically, but they don't necessarily show up here alphabetically because, higher price is going to be at the higher part of the chart. So LA County is in blue with a $945,000 median price for August of 2023. Orange is at just under 1.3 million in Orange County. Riverside, 605 in green, and San Bernardino is in gray at 516,000. So this is gray, by the way. I'm not sure how that's turning out on the screen, but keep in mind this entire presentation is clickable. You can see it up close, and it's nice and crisp and clean on your phone if you're looking at it that way. So those are our 4 county prices. Now, one of the things that we've been doing in our prior snapshots is just kind of sharing with you what's the trend. Are prices up? Are they down? Where have they gone? And all the rest of that. So we're going to do that a little bit differently today. But let's just run over to the end of the chart. Up, 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 up. So once again, here we are, ending August 2023. Our median prices continue to, I wouldn't say charge up, but they're certainly up. So again, we've kind of saw that little trough in values that we've been tracking for months and months and months, and basically since the beginning of this year, values have continued to march upward, and today is no exception. So is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. It is what it is. I can make an argument. Yeah, prices going up is always a good thing. We love that. But that's not what our federal policy is attempting to do. So what's that mean for long-term interest rates? I don't know. But this is the new part, and you'll see down here, I says a big old obnoxious click here button. So again, if you want to go back to the QR code, get the code, go to the presentation, you can click on that. And what this will do, this will basically bring this chart to life. All right, so you, at the comfort of your own home, can click on that. It'll basically bring up this exact same chart. I'll show you in a minute how that works. You're going to be able to hover over it and you'll be able to see all these cool things. Now, the secondary cool thing is this is a updated in real time live data. So I pulled this link a few hours ago. Today is September 6th. If you pull this chart tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, it's entirely possible you might see a little bit of a different number. And that would only be because somebody dropped in some new data. Maybe an agent got tied up over Labor Day weekend and they went and they dropped some data in. By the way, I also put sources on this. I don't think I've ever actually put the source of my data on these PowerPoints or on these Canva presentations before. I think that's kind of a bad thing. Aren't you supposed to say where you're getting your stuff from? So I've got the source here, CRMLS, and I've actually dated it too. And the reason I put the date on here is because this chart today on this video is as of September 6th, today. If you pull this same chart up on October 1st, you can go to this presentation, you can pull it up. It's going to give you different data, and it's going to give you the data in real time on that day. So for you guys that are super data geeks about this, maybe you'll find that interesting. For the rest of you, you're like, oh really, Lance? I could barely make it through your video in the first place, but at any rate, so here we are. Hopefully we're in this together. So this is a clickable chart. I'm not gonna click on this one, but obviously it's there. You can click into that and you can see the data. So what is this? And again, same data more or less that I've been presenting on the prior market snapshots, but I've just lumped it together so we can just deal with it. So again, we've got LA in blue, orange and red, Riverside County in green, San Bernardino County in gray. And I'm going to kind of work, I may rearrange these a little bit, but I'm going to start here in this lower right-hand quadrant. This is last year. So this is where we are today. 945 in LA, 1.28 million in orange, 605,000 Riverside, 516 in San Bernardino. This is where we were a year ago. I'm not going to go through every one. You guys can take a peek at it, but let's just say, generally speaking, less. If you're looking at these percentages are comparing August of last year. So that's the correlation between LA County is up 3.8%, August of last year, orange 8.2, Riverside basically flat 0.8, San Bernardino 3.2. But what we haven't done in some of the prior snapshots is what I have here. This is 2 years ago, August of 2021. So for now, I'm just going to focus on LA. We can play around with this maybe a little bit, or you guys can play at home. LA County 905, 2 years ago compared to 945. 3 years ago, now this is COVID. This is August of 2020. We're right in the middle of COVID, or actually not in the middle, kind of in the beginning of the middle, so to speak. 782,000 compared to 945. Just for giggles, because it kind of jumped out at me. Orange County at 925,000 compared to 1.28 million. All right, so and then let's go back to what a lot of people are calling the pre-COVID years or the pre-unicorn years, because they're defining these as kind of unicorns, very unusual, one-offs, very difficult to find, maybe never to be seen again, who knows. But this is pre-COVID. So this is something that we haven't talked about ever in our snapshots anyway. So LA at 680 compared to 945. Orange at 805 compared to let's call it 1.3, all right? Riverside at 404 compared to 605, and San Bernardino at 345 compared to 516. So honestly, I stopped here on purpose because again, I don't want to use the word normal, but 2019 kind of feels like the last normal year in memory. Okay, now we can talk about what was going on in 19 and all the rest of that, but we've been through some weird stuff since then. And we've been through some extraordinary appreciation numbers since 2019. So anyway, take a look at that. Let's jump in and go a little bit further. Now, this is where I think I might have gone a little too far. So maybe next month, this will be a little bit different. What we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a 15-year chart. The same counties Red is Orange County. Why is, well, because Orange County is the highest price. So we're looking at median sales price, by the way. The blue is LA County. The green is Riverside and San Bernardino. Same thing we just looked at, except we stretched it out. We went back 15 years. Now, this is the part that I don't know whether it's going to work or not. So let's play along together. So I'm actually going to click into this link, and we're going to see how this goes. So this would be the exact same link that you guys just clicked into. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And this is what you'll be able to do at home if you think this is interesting. So the numbers I just shared with you, if I hover my mouse over the lines, those are the exact same numbers we just shared. So you can go back and you can just kind of drag your mouse, and I just thought, well, this might be interesting. Let's go back. Well, let's see where we randomly want to stop. I'm just working my way through, and how about let's just go to 20, I don't know why, but I stopped on September 2017. Those are the numbers. So you can see where these prices have jumped. Now, interestingly enough, and this is CRMLS data, I need to talk to Art Carter. I don't know whether or not a year from now I'm going to get 16 years of data or whether I'm going to be limited to 15. I hope that it continues to keep my 2008 numbers here and we don't lose a year as we move forward. But I thought, well, hey, at least we captured 2008 now. Why do we want to capture 2008? Because that was an interesting period of time. So if I scroll all the way back and I hover my mouse over January of 2008, LA County, 500,000. Orange County, 600,000, half. So on and so forth. Riverside 319 and 216, or excuse me, 268 for San Bernardino. This is kind of actually we started to lose value before 2018, and I'm not being cute about this. I'm not referencing 2008 because like, oh my God, Lance is comparing where we are right now to what happened in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not. I'm just showing it to you because that's how far the data was allowed me to go back. But you can see these agonizing times between 2008 and 2009. And I guess if I kind of hover here, it's a little bit different in LA and Orange, but this is almost kind of sort of the trough, so to speak. So if you wanted to go back, if you lived in LA County, it looks like you'd have to come back a little bit to March of 2009, and you can see, okay, that appears to be the trough of the real estate disaster and the mortgage crisis and all the rest of that. But you can truly see where these values have gone. So play with this at home. And it'll get updated in real time. So if you're a fan of this and you stumble across this chart and this link 2 years from now and you click on it, the chart, assuming the program is still working, the chart will be live, and then you can go in and you can take a peek at that. So this is our pricing chart for the 4 counties. I think I've seen what I want to see here. Next thing up, we're going to look at supply and demand. And I really love this chart. I love this way better than I did before because it tells such a big story. This is a 5-year chart. It's going to take a real brief second here, and then we're going to go to the bigger one. So again, the LA County's on top in this case because it had the most number of listings. Then Riverside, second most, and then San Bernardino, and then Orange County. Ironically, the county with the highest price is the property with the least amount of inventory. Kind of makes sense, I suppose. But this is just talking about our new listing inventory, and just like we've been talking about, the price trend has been up, but the listing trend has been down. Now I just realized this exact second there's a chart that I forgot to put in here. Some of you who are really geeks about this have maybe heard some stuff in the media or on social media that says, hey, listing inventory has trended up. Well, these charts don't say that. However, the larger chart that I have for the CRMLS area, which is the better part of California, not Southern California, actually does show that listings trended up in the month of August. Our 4 counties don't show that, but there is data out there, depending upon where you may be, that says, hey, listing inventory ticked up. We'll see if that's a trend. For a whole bunch of reasons, not just self-serving, I want to sell more houses reasons, but I think it would be very healthy in our marketplace if we started to see some more listing data, more listings on the market rather. But we did not see it in the 4 counties that we cover. So if you see something that says something different, well, if it says that the listings in LA County were higher, call me, because then whatever they're looking at and I'm looking at are in conflict. But if it says, hey, in the state of California they're up, or nationally they're up, and that's the stuff I'm talking about, I think you're going to see some truth behind that data. We, however, just didn't see it. So again, that's a clickable chart, by the way. I didn't click on it, but you can click on that one as well. So here's the inventory, just to kind of put this in context real quick. LA County today, 3,700 listings. LA County 2019, 5,600 listings. This negative 23% does not correlate to this. This is just over the last 12 months. So all these percentages are just the year over year, August to August, August 2023 to August of 2022. But I wanted to go back to the pre-COVID year just to kind of put in comparison. So Orange County, 2,100 listings compared to 1,200. Riverside County, 3,500 listings compared to 2,100. San Bernardino County, 3,200 listings compared to 1,800. And again, why am I emphasizing on the 2019? Because that is the last year that felt normal. Okay, I again don't like the word because I don't feel I've been in a normal real estate market in a long time. But assuming that, at least to me, that felt more normal, it just kind of puts into very, very distinct terms how different our marketplace is today from a standpoint of listing inventory. Now here's a 15-year chart. This is also clickable. You can go back in and click on this. I don't know whether I'm going to click on it or not. We're going to see what happens. However, does this look like kind of like an EKG? Well, yeah, the heart thing does to me. So I'm going to skip. Well, I guess I could start over here. So here we are in 2008, the real estate crisis, the mortgage crisis, the Great Recession, whatever we want to call it. And again, we'll just focus on the LA County. That's the highest one here. But isn't it crazy how they just all trend? That's why I was like, when I was doing the counties separately, all the charts looked exactly the same. Well, you know why they looked exactly the same? Because they basically followed each other almost identically. The numbers were up and down just a little bit, but it seemed kind of silly to spend so much time going through 4 counties individually when I could throw them up all at the same time. But look at this high inventory. This is 2008. Again, I don't know. You can click on that, by the way. You can go back and see what that number. I mean, LA County, it's over 10,000 listings. But let's forget about that. Let's just look at the last 10 years, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Do they all look kind of the same? They do. What am I looking at, Lance? The top of the bar is when listing inventory peaked, which is generally going to be, if we hovered over it, it would be somewhere between June, July, and August. The bottom of the little charts are when inventory was the lowest during the year, and generally that's going to be December, January, somewhere in there. And they just track all the way through, maybe off by a little month here and a little month there, but it is amazing how predictable that portion of the inventory would be. This is why people in my business say, well, it's seasonal. We have the seasonality to real estate. Well, this is the season when you list, and this is the season when you don't list. You know, makes very sense, the summer season and the winter season. So then you could see over here, by the way, this little gap in here where things dropped, that was truly the very beginning of COVID. So if we came in and we clicked on this, you would notice that that's going to be March, April, May, June of 2020. So you got a little anomaly here. But other than that COVID year, even after COVID, these unicorn years, we were doing great. But then here we are now. This is 2023. Just that little itty bitty at the end with basically no spike. This should be up here if it did what it does every single year thereafter. It hasn't done that. So again, this chart is clickable. I'm not going to do it now because I'm still not sure exactly how this is going to render on the video. But if you want to click it at home, you can go back, hover your mouse, and it'll tell you exactly what sort of inventory we had during that particular time in space. And again, this is new listings for the 4 counties combined. Here's a 5-year chart of pending sales. So this is normally when I start to get that painful tone in my voice because we're not selling as many houses. This is a clickable chart for the 5-year. Let's take a peek at what it's looking like. So again, LA County, 2,100 properties. Last year, 3,400 properties. These are properties going into escrow, by the way. The other chart was listings. This is how many buyers and sellers are coming together and opening up escrow. LA 21 compared to 34. 2 years ago, 4,900. 3 years ago, 4,800. Normal year, 2019, 4,200. And you can just kind of see these negative percentages, by the way, which we've been tracking these negative percentages. We're selling fewer homes. Well, Riverside County, 30% fewer homes than August of 2020. That's 2,100 compared to 1,463. So we're still seeing that very, very difficult downward trend on the pending side. But I think this chart here maybe explains it a little bit more. So does it look very similar to the listing chart? It does, because guess what? Surprise, surprise, we tend to sell more houses when there's more houses on the market. So you could take those two charts, you could pretty much overlap them, and you kind of have that very similar, same spiking and dropping of sales. This is COVID, all right? And then this is where we are this year. We just are not seeing the sales volume for all the reasons we've been talking about forever. It's really funny, guys. I have a difficult time watching the news, if you will, when I see experts talking about why this is happening. And I'm like, wow, God, that sounds, God, am I ripping them off? Because I'm kind of saying the same thing that they're saying. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute, no. Not that they ripped me off, because there's a lot of very smart people out there, but we frankly have been talking about this a lot sooner than most of, I hate to use the term mainstream media, but the people who follow this are saying, oh yeah, interest rates, and we got people that are locked in, and we have just a huge percentage of people with mortgages at 3% and 4% or below. We've been talking about that for 18, 19 months now. And now everybody you hear about basically is saying the same thing that we've been talking about here. So I don't know, are we the smartest people in the room? Probably not, but it's certainly the trends that we've been following. But this inventory numbers down here is the pain point. I will click into this one just for giggles. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click into a live version of the exact same chart that I just had on the screen. Let me blow this up just a little bit. You can do the same thing at home. And just to kind of put this in perspective, as you see me hovering, so if I hover to the far right, this is August of 2023. Those are the numbers that we just looked at. So let's just spotlight Orange County for the moment. So let's not spotlight Orange County, because they just have a fewer number of sales nevertheless. Let's spotlight LA County, because they have more sales, they're bigger. So 2,100 sales. If I go way back here to 2013, that looks to me like that's the highest level of sales that that were on the chart. What's our baseline? So August of 2023, basically right now, last month, 2,100 properties went into escrow, compared to May of 2012, 5,241 sales. So, but how about we compare May of 2012, which is our all-time high for LA County pending sales, how about we compare that to May of this year? So that was, what was it? I have a very short memory. 5241 compared to May 3239. Okay? So again, about a 40%. Is that about right? It sounds like to me like about a 40% drop in sales from 8 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever number that was. So again, if you find this interesting, this is available to you. Just find your county, find your area, click on it, and away you go. Now I'm going to do you one better. I've been doing individual city snapshots. I'm not doing one today, but I'm going to do them starting next month again. And occasionally quite often I get, hey Lance, you haven't done Huntington Beach in a while. Hey Lance, you haven't done Temecula in a while. Hey, how about Rancho? Or hey Lance, you've never done Chino Hills. Okay, I'm going to do all of these little cities. I'm going to give you real-time live links to your city, and we're going to post it on the master link tree, and then you'll be able to go anytime you want and say, what's property values doing in Long Beach? What are property values doing in Riverside? And you can click on it in real time, and that link will be just as good 2 years from now as it is today. And you can also go back and you can take a look. You can take a look at some of the historical data. It'll take me a little while to build those cities up. So if you're an active watcher of my stuff and you're like, well, I don't want to wait a little while, just shoot me a message and says, hey Lance, could you please post my city, and I'll get it up there and it'll be there, and away you go. And hopefully you'll see some value in that. So you can play around with those charts. Let me see if I can navigate myself back. So again, these are the pending sales over the last 15 years, and we'll see where those go. So I told you the last several months I'm going to find a new chart, but it still seems to apply. This is I have for my forecast. The transactions are cratering. We have a transaction problem, which is not going to get any better because it's August. Actually, it's September 6th, and generally speaking, we're in that bottom of seasonal. October's frankly, not going to be any better. November, December, January, we shall see. So we'll see what happens. So there's our transactional issue. I just told you we don't have a spotlight city this month, so let's jump into interest rates. A lot has happened since our last snapshot. We had another Fed rate increase. We had a lot of news about inflation. We've got a lot of new news on job reports, just a whole bunch of stuff out there. And rates spiked. And by the way, this is the optimal blue chart. I'm going to show you the old Google machine chart in here in a minute. But rates spiked up again in August, depending upon your credit and a variety of things. If you were applying for a home loan, you'd be looking at somewhere probably between 7.5% and 8%, maybe even a little north of 8. Yep, a little north of 8. Things have pulled back and improved a little bit, and then they kind of went up a little bit more. But right now, if you trust Optimal Blue as your source, you're looking at about 7 and 8% interest rate on a 30-year fixed conforming. Something tells me that might not be doable. You might be a little bit higher than that. We'll see. And then if you just go to the old Google machine, as of yesterday, their number is significantly higher, basically 7 3/4. As always, if you're thinking about refining or getting a mortgage or whatever it happens to be, we don't do loans, but we have trusted partners that do. So reach out to me, Lance Martin, Coldwell Banker, Town and Country. Oh, and by the way, yes, when you're ready to list or buy, reach out to me. Me and my team will certainly help you. So right now, interest rates have shown some signs of improvement, but your guess is as good as mine. I don't have the chart up here, but the Mortgage Bankers Association says at the end of this year, rates are going to settle lower, 6%, 6.5%. Fannie Mae, Federal National Mortgage Association, they're kind of a big deal. Their forecast shows rates at the end of this year in the 6s, 6.5-ish, below 7 anyway. So we shall see. So right now, you'd be tough pressed to get a rate that starts with a 6, but if Fannie Mae is correct, and if the Mortgage Bankers Association is correct, then we should start to see some improvement on 30-year fixed mortgage. But there's just so many things going on out there. I mean, who knows? It's just a struggle. So those are our interest rates. That is the end of our 2023 real estate market snapshot. Hopefully this translates well. Hopefully you guys will be able to see what we are clicking on, and you'll find some value in those links. So until next time, have a great September, and we'll see you in October.